uncle's $10 million company went to whoever could crack his final code in 48 hours, and my Harvard-educated siblings hired hackers while I remembered the bedtime stories he told me. Uncle Elijah died on a Monday morning at 4:17 a.m. in his penthouse overlooking the Seattle skyline, his fingers still resting on his laptop keyboard. The medical examiner said massive heart attack, instant and painless. He was 53 years old and worth approximately $47 million, most of it tied up in Datacrypt Solutions, the cybersecurity company he'd built from nothing over 20 years. The funeral was scheduled for Thursday, but the will reading happened Wednesday afternoon at his attorney's office downtown. My 3 siblings arrived in designer suits and practiced grief expressions, already calculating their inheritance shares. My older sister Octavia flew in from Boston, where she worked as a senior partner at a venture capital firm, her Harvard MBA and ruthless investment strategies having built an empire. My brother Sterling arrived from San Francisco in a Tesla that cost more than most people's houses, his Stanford computer science degree having led him to found 3 successful startups before age 40. My younger sister Magnolia came from Manhattan, where she ran a hedge fund specializing in tech acquisitions, her Yale economics background making her a legend in financial circles. Then there was me, Phoenix Castellano, the family disappointment with a literature degree from a state school and a job teaching creative writing at a community college. I made $43,000 a year and lived in a 1-bedroom apartment with secondhand furniture. The attorney's name was Bernard Yates, and he had the exhausted expression of someone who'd spent decades managing wealthy people's demands. He opened the leather portfolio containing Uncle Elijah's will and began reading the usual legal language. Then he reached the part that made my siblings lean forward with predatory interest. To my nieces and nephews, I leave the controlling shares of Datacrypt Solutions, valued at approximately $10.3 million. However, this inheritance comes with conditions. Bernard paused and looked at each of us. Uncle Elijah created a challenge that must be completed within 48 hours of this reading. Whoever solves it receives the company. The others receive nothing. The room exploded with simultaneous objections. Octavia demanded to know the legal basis for such a condition. Sterling called it manipulative garbage and threatened to contest the will. Magnolia pulled out her phone and started texting her attorneys. I just sat there feeling the familiar weight of being invisible, the one who didn't matter because I didn't have the right credentials or income bracket. Bernard raised his hand for silence. The challenge is this. I have encrypted a file containing the transfer documents and access codes for Datacrypt Solutions. The encryption is unbreakable by conventional means. The password is a single phrase, no numbers or special characters, exactly 17 words long. You have 48 hours from the moment I give you the encrypted file to crack it. Whoever submits the correct password first inherits everything. Sterling laughed. The sound sharp and dismissive. That's it? A password challenge? Uncle Elijah built his fortune on encryption. This is literally what our family does. He looked at Octavia and Magnolia with confidence. I can have my team crack this in 6 hours maximum. Octavia was already on her phone. I know 3 cybersecurity firms that specialize in this exact work. Money is no object. Magnolia nodded, her fingers flying across her tablet. I'm allocating $500,000 for this. We can hire the best hackers in the world. Bernard cleared his throat. There's more. Uncle Elijah specified that you must work individually. No teams, no hired help. Just your own knowledge and skills. Any evidence of outside assistance results in immediate disqualification. The objections started again, louder this time. Octavia stood up, her voice commanding. This is absurd. We're business people, not hackers. Sterling was pacing. What's the encryption method? AES 256? RSA? Bernard consulted his notes. The file itself will tell you the encryption type. That's all the information he provided. He handed each of us a USB drive in a sealed envelope. The 48-hour countdown begins the moment you open the envelope. Choose your timing wisely. Magnolia grabbed hers immediately. I'm starting now. Every second counts. Sterling and Octavia took theirs with similar urgency. I held mine carefully, the small drive feeling impossibly heavy. We left the attorney's office and gathered in the parking garage. Sterling was already planning his strategy aloud. I'll set up a virtual machine, run every decryption tool I have access to, analyze the algorithm for weaknesses. Octavia interrupted. I'm calling everyone I know in cybersecurity for advice, not help, just consultation about methodology. Magnolia was downloading software to her laptop. I'm going to systematically try password combinations based on everything I know about Uncle Elijah's life. Birthdays, anniversaries, favorite quotes, places he lived. They all turned to look at me then, as if suddenly remembering I existed. What are you going to do, Phoenix? Sterling asked with barely concealed condescension. Write a poem about encryption? Octavia didn't even pretend to be polite. You should probably just forfeit now. Save yourself the embarrassment. Magnolia at least tried for sisterly concern. This is way outside your skill set. I looked at the USB drive in my hand and thought about Uncle Elijah, about the hundreds of hours we'd spent together when I was young, about the stories he'd told me that my siblings had been too busy to listen to. I'm going to remember. I said quietly. Remember what? Sterling laughed. Remember how to hack? I shook my head. Remember the stories. And what happened next changed everything. Full story is linked below or on my channel.